Friday. Facebook takes a little couple minutes to come up. So welcome to Friday today. Today we have Michael Solovyev. Michael is a brand ambassador from, well, living in Canada, traveling the world. It's hard to say where he's from because he's always, his main home is in Canada, but he's all over the world all the time. And he's going to show us some of his painting techniques today. I believe he's going to do one of the other brand ambassadors, Laura McCracken. And welcome, Michael. Saw Michael in not too long ago in Netherlands. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you for invitation. It's always a pleasure to see your faces. Thank you so much. So today we'll talk about the very specific things. Honestly, you will be the first people who will see that technique. I never shared it before, even with my students. So I really call that revolution. And behind me, the painting made exactly in that technique and that style. If I stand in close, you will see it's a pretty big one. It's a 40 by 40 inches. That means meter by meter. It's just a watercolor paper, just the technology a little bit different. So we will talk about that, guys. I believe you know what is this. This is the ground. It's a primer for the watercolor. But idea is, yeah, for sure, you can cover any surface like a plywood, cardboard, plexiglass, everything you want with that and paint. So I believe you know that. But the more important thing, how you can use the possibility what that guys give to you. So honestly, I change the style because of that, and I will show you how it works. So, you know, the main thing what I hear about the watercolor all the time, it's a pretty stressful material because, you know, if you did something, you couldn't erase it, you couldn't change it, which honestly not exactly true, even if we're talking about the regular paper, but special. These things change everything. So first of all, before I'm starting to paint, I will show you like a few technical steps, preparation, what I should do before I'm start to paint. It's a very cheap cardboard from the dollar store, almost nothing. It's really, really bad quality. So I'm going to use that like my paper now. So what I did, I prepared that because it's a gray color. I take it special in gray color, and I will show you what happens if we're starting to use it. So first, that's the original gray color, what it was. Before I use just the regular paint for the walls and make it 2 coats of that to make it just like a white. That's my first step. Second step, I use this Daniel Smith ground titanium white because we have 2 kind of things, transparent and titanium white. So plus 2 more covers with that, which for now, it's ready for the watercolor, so I can paint here. But you know, that's the huge difference between the texture would give you the transparent ground and the titanium white. So the transparent ground make the surface more soft and your brush just sliding, and it's a huge difference. That's why I cover that with a transparent primed 2 times again. So, you know, it's always, if you want to paint the wall, you have to paint it twice. So that's what I did here. And so finally, I have a surface which is ready for paint and exactly for the style what I want to show you. But if you don't use the cheap cardboard, if you use the good quality paper, you don't have to do all that steps. You need just twice cover that with a transparent 2 coats with a transparent ground, and that's enough. So, you know, this is one of my favorite subjects. That is just a glass of whiskey here. You can see that. So it's look like a pretty realistic stuff. But it's a very simple to do. That's exactly on the same primer because it's the same paper. And that ugly stuff, which is not finished, I make it yesterday. So it's completely dry, 100%. We can, you know, touch, nothing happens here. So in the 5 minutes, I will show you how to transform this to that using just water. That's the idea. Technically, all the pigments perfectly connected to the ground, but they can be unstable. So if I just starting to move them with the water, I can repaint the picture completely. That's the trick. So it's just the water. And this is the beautiful brush from the Skoda Parallel Flat. So let's go. We just transform it to something nice. So if I need, I can create the highlights, take off the pigments, move them. So that's absolutely 100% freedom, which was impossible before I tested this brilliant primer the first time. So you see, I can remove the pigments and blend it softly, so I can create something really, really nice and precise made if I need. And that's slowly but going to be something realistic now. And it's just made by water. Very soft blending. And I can, if I need, I can erase everything. Like here, look, just to make the highlights, touch your paper a few times, and you can create a perfect white paint without white. You know, in reality, it's look very transparent and nice. And that's really a miracle, because all of that 100% under my control. I can back to any part, repaint it, change it, and that's really cool. Like this shape is really not nice, so I can make it just straight, just like this.
That's very nice.
So from this moment, everything can be fixable. That's why I say it's like in watercolor world, for me, it's like a real revolution. There is no stressful moments anymore. You don't like something, erase, repaint. We can rebuild the shape anytime. And just imagine all of these job I'm doing use this very cheap cardboard from the dollar store.
The paper companies, you're not going to be their favorite, Michael.
That's true. No, honestly, for the I couldn't paint Lauren McCracken. That's exactly what we will do today on this cheap cardboard. There is no respect in that. So I will use the high quality, very heavy watercolor paper for our main job. Yes, definitely. This is just to explain the idea and show the technical stuff. So that's how it works. But I can tell you more. Yeah, for sure, we can make it much better. We can put some more pigments inside. But I want to show you one trick that will be interesting. I make a zoom to make it more visible. So let's back to our first glass of whiskey, to this one. Yeah, and right now I will drink half of that right here on the paper. This time I need a little bit paint as well.
Magic.
Yes, that's why I said that's really magic and the revolution. So let's say half of the dose, something like that will be good. Okay. Here. But I keep the rocks. I like the rocks.
Michael, this is amazing. I'm getting thirsty.
Thank you. So now I add a little bit pigments here. So, I'm not sure that's really visible on the camera, but what I'm really like here, in that technique, it still look like watercolor because it's transparent and you feel the texture of the paper here. So it's not look like oil, even if they like it technically, it's very close to that. So that's really, really magic things.
Would you frame something like that under glass or use a spray of some sort to prevent it from?
That brilliant question. Honestly, for this, I prefer to use a varnish on top of that, because then I'm painting on the regular watercolor paper in the regular way. It's very important what your paper is breathe and the air is coming. For this style, it's not necessary. It's exactly, technically, it's close to the acrylic or oil. So the varnish on top of that will be the best solution. It will be protected and nice. So I just make it dry.
How thick the paper became after all of these layers of the ground, Michael?
Sorry again, because I don't get the question. It's noisy. Yep.
How thick did the paper become after all these layers of the ground?
Almost nothing changed because it's a very tiny and thick layers, so no difference. Yeah, a little bit heavy, but not that serious.
Michael, at some point, could you just quickly go through all those steps again? That happened so fast in the beginning, I didn't catch them all.
Okay, yeah, sure, with pleasure. So because I use, again, a very cheap cardboard for that, that was idea. So this is from Dollarama Things. It's absolutely soft, but not textured, which I don't like things. So I prepared that. First, I just use the regular paint for the walls and cover that 2 times, just to make it white, only for this. And it's impossible to use any paint on that for now. After that, I use this ground titanium white from the Daniel Smith and cover that again 2 times. So that, for now, I can show you that that's ready for the watercolor. So it's perfectly connected to the watercolor, can be used. But later I will show you one trick, which is very important. After this, I use another one transparent ground to cover that again 2 times. And finally, I have a little bit more softly texture. Then you're touching it with a brush here on the screen. It's not huge difference. But later, I will show you what's the difference between that two guys. Not just transparency, more. Because the texture what you have, if you will try that just by fingers, here it's a little bit more sharp. These are very soft, almost like a glass, you know, and that give me a chance to make another one trick, which we will do a little bit later. So I just finished that die, a few highlights, and that will be done.
Thank you for that, Michael. Thank you.
My pleasure. Yeah, you can ask me everything about that because I'm a huge fan of that things and can talk about that for hours.
What
you see-
varnish do you use, Michael?
Here in the local, our local network
Mhm.
stores, Amer Dessert, we have a very good primate. It's a how it's called correctly. It's not exactly the varnish. It's a transparent medium to protect the paint. Mostly it's used for acrylic. But I use that for this, and that looks perfectly because I can choose. I can use the shiny or matte surface. So if I want to make it look like close to the oil, I can make it like a shiny and glossy little bit. If I want to go to the more watercolor, I can use the matte varnish to protect it. So that's how it works. So we can move, you see the water without problem. We can fill it with the whiskey in full. So no limitation. The first time in watercolor, no limitation. If you don't like something, you can erase it. You can change the color and still keep it look like a real watercolor, which is extremely cool.
Michael, I have
Yeah.
no question. Is there a difference from staining and non-staining watercolors with this technique?
Honestly, no. Even if the tallow pigments, if you use here, you can erase it. That's why I make a double coats. That's important. If it will be just one, some pigments will stuck. If you make it a few times, you can erase everything completely. I can tell you more. We have another one great trick, which is useful, especially if you go into the like something really hyper-realistic style or something precise. Just think, after I finish this, if I'm happy with my layer, but I want to add something more complicated details on top of that, but want to save this, I can cover that with a varnish one time. After that, use the transparent primer again and continue to paint watercolor. So I can make it really multi-layering. So it's for the people who want to make something really, really complicated and want to save the layers what was done before. Because after the varnish and you cover it by the transparent primer ground from the Daniel Smith, you can continue paint like on new paper and save everything what it was before. So that's the point. Yep. So now we can go, because I'm trying to save you time, we can go to our main subject. The story is, this is the great watercolor artist, Lauren McCracken. So we was together on the boat on the Netherlands. So you see, it was a pretty cold there. And so we was together in the morning to observe the river. It was a fabulous time. And it was really, really cold. And yeah, the Lauren was with us, you see. And that's the photo what I took from him. And here, I like that photo. Here it look really, really cool. So that's what I use like a reference photo. To save our time, I make a sketch. So here is it. I just make a zoom to make it more visible. Zoom out, just a second. And for sure, I don't want to use the cheap cardboard for that. This is a very heavy 640 grams Fabriano rough paper. And the point is, it's a very textured paper. But plus, then I cover that with, this is just the 2 layers of the transparent ground. There is no white, there is no titanium white ground. So I use just the transparent stuff only 2 times. And another one small trick, I use that cheap brush, which make for me the nice texture of that, because I don't mix that with the water. I put it directly, so I have some textured things. So what I'm gonna do first, I cover that with some colors to organize my paper. That's the first step, and after that, just after that, I'm start to paint. But I want to show you a little bit more, compare what I show you with the whiskey, because the final step, you didn't saw that, not yet. The final step change everything. So patience, you will see all the things.
Michael, quick question.
Yeah.
Do you need to put ground on the other side of the paper as well, like you do with gesso to keep it flat?
No. So what I did, I wet the paper first on the back side, just to make it wet, soft. So I put it on my board. That's the PVC plastic board here. I tape it to keep it flat. Then it's dry. Put the 1 layer in the 5-6 hours, the second layer of ground. So that's how I prepared the paper. So this flat now, and after I start to paint, that can be a little bit curved, but then it's dry, it will be 100% flat again, which is pretty comfortable. So the first time in watercolor, you don't have to care about the quality of your strokes. You just have to organize your paper, and after that, you can care about the quality. So that style divide the complicated projects for the few simple steps. And now I make it a little bit more darker than I need, because after that, I'm starting to take off the pigments. So that's the point.
I like how you start with the forehead. Michael, I'm just curious, did you sand down the ground, or does it have some texture from the brush?
Yeah, first of all, this is the Fabriano rough paper, which is textured itself very much. Plus, as I say, I use that cheap brush to make some strokes. So I like the texture. Honestly, you know, what I show you today is just honestly one part of the magic what we can create with a primate, but it's impossible to explain everything in one meeting. So we can do much more, especially if we're starting to use the texture of that. That's another one great trick, and that's very useful. Next time. So we have more surprises here.
What black are you using there?
It's a great question. Oh, you see, I have a here special tube. This is a McCracken black pot. Yeah, it's right there. No. This time is just a mix between indigo and quinacridone sienna, which in the right proportions make a nice grayish color.
Sure.
But yeah, you see, it's on my table always.
All right, just had to check. Just had to check.
And by the way, let's try to use it. It will be interesting. I will show you another one thing which is interesting. So let's try to use that for the background. It's just a beautiful color.
One of the things we worked on with John and his scientists to create McCracken Black is to create as neutral a black as possible, so that if you want to add colors to it, you can warm it up or cool it down. But it also means that McCracken Black can be compatible with anything else you've got in your palette or on your painting.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
great.
It's gorgeous color.
It's good to hear you, Lauren.
Always a treat, John, to be in the same media with you. We had a grand time in Leiden in the Netherlands with John and Catherine and a bunch of really talented watercolorists, and Michael did a fabulous demo over there that just had everybody spellbound.
Yeah, it's marvelous.
Thank you. So you see, I add a little bit McCracken Black here, just for the shadows. So that's the point, you know, all the process painting, no limitation. I just thinking about how to organize my paper in the best way and which colors I want to add there. And I'm just absolutely don't think about quality. So this is the really creative process. I'm trying to make composition look nice. So that's the most important thing. And later we're starting to care about our strokes, quality of the strokes and all the things, but not now.
Indigo and burnt sienna.
Why
Yep.
were you thinking about it, that boat, Lauren?
What was the question?
Why was you thinking about it, that boat, Lauren? You seem to be in a dreamy state.
Oh, we were traveling through a part of Leiden
Yeah.
that was from the actually about the late 1700s and 1800s, when Leiden was a very prosperous port, and one of the canals went through where the housing area, these wonderful estates had been built by these very wealthy
I can
people.
only agree.
And it was just, I mean, it was just fascinating. And of course, the Dutch had been to been all over the world at this time, so they were picking and choosing details from architecture all around the world, and working in these bow windows and these ogee arches on the tops of their houses and things like that. So that was what was I was just entranced with it.
And we still earn money from it.
Yes,
After all
exactly.
that centuries.
Absolutely.
Lauren actually has this look quite a bit. He kind of puts off this, Sherlock Holmes.
Well, the cape I'm wearing there under this, somebody loaned me a wonderful scarf to put over my head, but my cape is actually the same cape that Sherlock actually did wear in those fictional books, of course.
And I had to miss that trip in working. I should have never done a workshop and come to the boat.
One of the things that impressed me with what Jan Min had put together, several things, but the enthusiasm of the local watercolorist was really high, and the quality of the work that they showed there was very refreshing. Jan had put together a really fabulous exhibition of artists from all over the world, but the work of some of the locals was some of the best we saw.
I invited only the good ones, so you all supported it. It was a great atmosphere.
And also a wonderful theme he collected there. Wonderful people working, just the nicest team.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. No, I'm sure it was people in the background pulling their hair out, but being just an observer and a participant, it just flowed. It didn't look like it looked almost effortless.
We only know how much work.
Absolutely. The other great thing was the building we were in was just fantastic. Probably from the late 1600s, with all the original hand-hewn beams showing and 30-foot ceilings. It was just a fabulous building that the local watercolor group has access to. I'm sure all the rest of us jealous of the fact that we don't have a space like that.
Well, when we prepared this all, we hoped it would be better even as Amsterdam, because there's such a lot to see there. There's a lot of
Michael,
Yep.
can I ask if you have prepared something from for Thessaloniki?
Yeah, sure.
Because you are planning to give a demo here as well, right?
Yes, yeah, with pleasure.
I'm looking so forward to it.
And I have a special surprise for the Thessaloniki. Yep, that's for sure.
Oh, that's what I wanted to hear.
I couldn't miss it, definitely.
You are such a great master and such a great person as well. See you soon here.
Thank you, George.
One of the things we love about Michael, not only does he invent things for the rest of us to sit back and ooh and ah over, he is so generous with sharing all of this with us. And that, of course, is the spirit of watercolor worldwide. But Michael is one of our strongest advocates in the philosophy that there are no secrets. Let's just get it out there and see what everybody else will do with it.
Thank you so much for your kind words. I appreciate it.
Just calling it like I see it.
He's also handsome.
Oh, wow.
Knapper. Ontzettend knap wat hij doet.
Ik vind hem echt, ja, hij is echt heel.
Guys.
Michael, remind them how windy that day was. I actually did comb my hair.
So slowly we're starting to create something. I still have 25 minutes in front of me, so I will fit in that time. And
This is just magic to watch, Michael.
Thank you. But believe me, the main surprise in front of us. So just using the washout, I can bring the lights. And, it's a great feeling of freedom, because if I don't like something, it's very easy to repaint it and change.
Would you ever be able to submit this for a competition?
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Even in the Transparent Watercolor Society of America.
Exactly.
Sure, absolutely, because this is applied with transparent watercolor onto paper. That's the requirement.
Thank you.
I love these contrasts and these warm touches right now. Fantastic.
Mhm.
You see, the cheap brush works not just for the primer, it can be painted by this. Because that helps to move the texture and make something soft and nice.
Do you sell that brush on your website?
No, no, but I believe you can find it in the Home Depot, you know, or something like that, without trouble.
Michael, that was lunar black back there. The one that
No. It just look like granulated because of the texture. That's the point. But this was a Maprakan black plus a little bit indigo and queen sienna together.
I see. Okay, but it lifts very easily, right? It is.
Yes, yeah,
not
that's because of the primer. So I switch to the little bit softy brush.
Does the drying of the paint get affected by the ground?
Sorry again?
Does the drying of your paint get affected by having the ground there? Does it make it longer or shorter? Or?
Yeah, that's right. Because, you know, on the primer, it's drying slowly, but just this. I have to wait a little bit more or use the hair dryer if I need to speed up the process, but only that. And I want to show you something. I will try to make the zoom just to show the texture, which it's not visible on the screen, but you will see how cool is that. Look at this. So that texture, it's just look amazing in reality. And that's possible to make only with a primer. And look, this another one stuff, what I will use. This one is just a spray, but it's like a mist spray, you know, it's made like clouds, let's say. And you will see what happens if I spray that. That will be another one surprise.
It's beautiful already.
Look, and after I spray it with a mist, the pigments starting to be unstable again. But they are starting to move in the natural way without my brush. So the trick is, first, I organize the spots exactly like I need. And after that, I'm starting to use the spray water to make it look natural. And finally, it's not look like a handmade anymore. So that's technically, it's a great trick. So I make it zoom back. And in that way, I will finish it all the painting, and I will show you what happens if I spray it after that. Just we have to do it in the right moment. It's a little bit magic stuff. Out. So the timing is still important. The good things I can back to that anytime again and again and again, but to make that nice special effect with a spray, I have to spray it in the right moment.
My next question was if you were going to paint the Super Bowl ring. This is amazing, Michael.
Michael, amazing job, amazing.
You know, it's not me. Honestly, it's primate. It's a ground.
Absolutely, it's not you. It's all these brushes and everything else.
You're beginning to know.
Michael, there's a question in Zoom and
Yeah.
BJ wants to know what brush you're using now.
It's mine brush. No, that's a very specific brush. You know, the best thing, if you go into my YouTube channel, 15 minutes watercolor with Michael, you will find the free video about that brushes. I explain everything because it's a long time speech. So that's very specific stuff, unusual, but a good one.
Does layering technique get affected really badly when you're using the ground because it just pulls everything up so easily? I mean, if you wanted to layer, how would that work?
Yeah. That's what I say. You have to use any kind of varnish, depends of what result you were looking for. So if you make the first layer and 100% happy with that and sure what that should be like that, just put one layer of varnish and after that, another one layer of the ground. And you can continue to paint and your first layer will be safe. So technically,
the transparent.
yeah, exactly. That's 100% transparent. So you can put many layers like that, save your layers and keep keep your painting still transparent. So we never, in the end, nobody understood what that made by the many layers with a primate. No, it not will be look like that. That's the main point.
Johnny, I can see you trying this technique.
It's beautiful. Michael makes it look so easy and
Yeah.
The main thing here is exactly the texture, what I create. With the zoom, I will show you later, it's visible and that's exactly make it look interesting. If you organize your composition in the right way, so with the distance, it will be look okay, then, but the people come close and see the, you know, it's look like a stone and like a fresque or something. So that's make a completely different impression.
Yeah, kudos to our model also.
And the values, of course.
Yeah.
I love the texture and the granulation. It makes it so alive.
That's right. So for now, all my my pigments here is just flying, and it's not like a huge lake. That's why I approximately know where is my pigment stopped, but they have just a little bit lift to moving to a little bit to the left, to the right, but because they are moving it themselves, that final result make look very natural. That's the point.
So expressive.
And you see, it's easy to do.
Absolutely.
Michael, this is fabulous. This is just fabulous.
It's painted in an hour. It should be $300.
Or more.
More. That would be a
Much
300
more.
steal.
1 hour and 30 years.
That's right. That is always my answer.
Also, since it's Michael Solovyev painting Lauren McCracken, doesn't that triple the price?
Depends on who's buying it.
So I have to make it dry the last time to finish it these parts, because that's, for my feelings, pretty nice organized. Maybe just a little bit more freshness here, just a little bit. So you see, we can back to the parts, like for instance, to make them a little bit more soft blending or make some accents anytime, which is unbelievable. So idea is with that guy, the first time, all the process can be rebuilt anytime under control. So there is no time problem anymore. That's cool.
You caught the expression so perfectly.
Thank you.
So what's he thinking? Huh? How did he do that?
Same thing we're all thinking right now.
Yeah, make it dry and finish the process.
I remember this moment perfectly well. When he was, when he had his coat on his head and on the boat in Leiden.
Stop it, Angela. I'm jealous I were not there.
Well, if you haven't been to Leiden, I recommend it to anybody, because it was a lovely town. It's a university-driven town, so there was a lot of young people out and about. It had a great vibe to it, and of course, it wasn't unusual to turn around and look at the stone lintel over the entrance to a house, and the date would be 1620.
Yeah. Yeah,
Beautiful.
quite
Thanks for
beautiful.
putting lime in the wound there, Lauren.
What's that?
Thanks for making it sound even more better.
And the food was delicious. The people were friendly.
Oh, now
The
you're
day
talking
we
a love
arrived,
language.
the day we arrived, everyone was sitting outside on terraces by
Yes.
the canals.
Canals.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hundreds of them
Yeah.
and thousands of bikes on the top of each other.
Mhm.
Okay, I still have a 5-7 minutes, so I will try to finish that pretty fast.
Lauren, you must be so happy with the painting.
Raise your hand or hit the like button if you want Michael to paint you next. We're taking orders.
And put your hand up before Lauren buys it.
It's wonderful that Michael is one of the most giving artists. He's got wonderful YouTubes of him out in the sun somewhere, painting a house or something. He's wonderful to watch, even plein air.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
He's the only one, the one. Most generous always.
I am so happy that he's coming to Girona, aren't you? Coming to Girona in October.
Yes, I will be there. That's another one beautiful city, really. Like, you know, it's always cool to feel yourself like inside the Game of Thrones.
Yes, that's it.
We'd be very happy to see you in San Francisco.
Anytime. I never was there, you know, I'm dreaming to be there.
Oh, you gotta come.
Yeah,
We're going to work on that, Michael.
Okay.
good.
San Diego's first.
That's okay. Except to be a bit cooler up here.
Seattle is just beautiful in September.
Well, come to San Francisco in September. It'll be nice and warm. Opening of the opera, opening of the symphony, and then you can go to Seattle.
It's look like I will be very
Sounds
busy.
like a plan.
Michael,
If
we
you
are all
come
organizing your year. All
all
your year
year
is
round's a
organized.
nice time in San Diego.
Tell them how many workshops do you have this year, Michael?
Yeah, this year it's 29 workshops in the 17 countries.
Goodness gracious.
That's the thing. I don't know how you do that.
He's the Energizer Bunny.
Yes.
I'm really enjoy the job, seriously. And you know, each country, different people asking different questions because they have a different traditions in watercolor.
Yeah.
And that's how I'm learning myself.
Yeah, that always amazes me.
putting in?
In how many countries?
17 this year. Next year it will be more easy. For now I have just a 14 countries, so it's
Oh, yeah, just cruising.
Amazing.
In the chat, you have many requests for other cities in the United States, even Hawaii.
Well, I get that question a lot. You know, when are you coming to my town? And my stock answer is I said, get 15 painters together and get them organized and I'll be there. That's all it takes. I'm just loving the fact that because you have the ground over the paper, that when it starts to get just a little too hard, that little misty spray brings it right back up to where you want it.
Yep. That's exactly it.
Michael, Michelle would like to know what the brown you're using on the sleeve is.
I mean this one.
No, the color that
the
you're
color
using on the
brown.
sleeve.
So okay, here is the combination between that's where is this? Yes, brilliant color, McCracken black, and indigo, cobalt, queen sienna. So all that space with that 4 guys, they just in the different combination.
How about the warm colors in the hand?
This mostly is a purine violet, which is one of my favorite color.
Oh,
Quinacridone sienna, and just a little bit here, quinacridone deep gold to make it a little bit yellowish.
sure. Yeah.
We're almost done, just a few more touching to finish it that, and I'll make it dry again and show you with the zoom, show you the texture what we have.
I think all of us are finding that quinacridone gold is just such a versatile color.
You bet.
You know, as it comes out of the tube, it can be pretty garish, but add a little water to it, it can do so many things.
Do I have quit gold?
Yes, the quinacridone deep gold, so all that colors what I'm using here, except the beautiful McCracken black, it's in my set. That's the things what I'm using all the time in my palette. So here is from my set, it's 5 colors plus McCracken black. So last spray, and I will show you the last treat.
Beautiful.
If you need a little bit more texture, just after you spray it with a dry brush, very gently touching that, and you can use the texture better. So to show how it works, I will dry everything. So it takes 2 more minutes, and I will show you the final touching, which create from this something completely different.
Wow.
we will name you Magic Michael.
Mhm.
Most angels are magical.
Op licht erin. A lot of light in it.
Simply fantastic job, Michael.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Was het toen koud dan, dat hij met zo'n ding erover zat?
Ja, het was frisjes. Maar
So the final trick. So as you can see, it's already pretty nice texture. I just moved my stuff. Sorry. Yep. So the texture here is already look beautiful
Mhm.
everywhere. It's like a fresque stone, something. So I will show you how to use it more. So if we're happy with the tonal balance with our picture, if it's done and you're happy with that.
dat wil je het film weer.
Ja.
So I spray it another one time, just water, and very softly touching with a brush. So I pick up the pigment just from top. You see what happens? So we make the texture more visible.
Wow.
That is the brush. That is the brush.
Yes, and the brush. So we can do it
The
everywhere.
hand
Like,
that holds the brush, huh?
like this, it's look pretty flat. So I spray it and just take off the pigments from top. You see, I bring the white back.
Must take a really soft touch.
Yes, that's right. Really, really soft. But because of that, you see, it's not look like handmade anymore. It's look like a really fresque on the wall in
Yeah.
time.
Yeah,
So-
absolutely.
Or another one part is here. So it's again pretty dark, flat, and it's look like a handmade. So a little bit water, and I take off the pigments. Yeah, your touching should be so gentle. But you know what? If you make a mistake, we can repaint it anytime. That's the point.
Wow.
So now it's look like a
Heel
real.
anders dan jij, hè?
Ja.
Next week, you're gonna walk into Sotheby's and try to sell this for a 350-year-old painting, I know. Because it has all the right textures.
So now you know that secret, but without this thing, if you look at the painting, nobody understood how it was made.
No.
Yeah, and if you say, well, that's the watercolor, that will be a huge surprise. But it is. And in reality, again, it's not that visible on the screen, but in reality, it's 100% transparent, and you see that, and you feel the paper inside, which is really, really cool. So just a few final touching.
And we are not going to tell anyone, Michael.
Sorry, Sally.
We're going to tell anyone
Michael?
secrets.
Yep. Yes.
Michael, I have a question regarding the black, the McCracken black dot that's in the center there. Would you just leave it, or do you have a way of getting that out without messing up 5 inches of painting? The one now down on his scarf.
All the way down?
Okay.
Yeah, no, up. I guess I'm the only one that sees it. Never mind.
No.
I think you're the only one that's bothered by it.
Maybe so. And that would drive me crazy. And I would spend 15 hours trying to get that dot up. It's right
Michael,
there.
she's talking about that
Oh,
dot
I
just
see.
above where you were painting there.
Oh, it's a tiny little dot. Oh my.
And it would drive me crazy.
Yeah, that's the one. Oh, now she can sleep tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'll buy it. I'll buy it now.
You'll buy 2 of them.
So we're done with that. Then it's dry. I will back to that painting. That's another one great point. I can back to my watercolor in the few hours or days and fix something which I don't like. So for now, after all that experiments, my paper a little bit curved like that. In 2 hours, it will be flat, dry. And after that, I'll see maybe I want to correct something, make like a final touching. But I believe you got the idea. So that's the result what we create. And again, look close. You don't see my hand here. You see just a very soft blending with the texture, and you never see my brush strokes. It's impossible to guess what kind of brush I used for that. So that's the really non-handmade miracle, which is possible just because of that guy. I say it's revolution.
Fabulous, fabulous. Thank you,
Beautiful.
thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, wow.
Thank you very much.
Could you put this watercolor ground in your book for 5, please?
Sorry again.
Your next book that comes out, and you put this watercolor ground technique in it?
Yes, yes,
No.
it will be. So for now, my book number 5 in the production, number 6.
Number
yes,
8.
I will talk about it. For now, I still keep it like a secret. As I say, you're the first people who saw that technique. No one, my students, saw that in process. People saw just a result, never guessed how it was made. So now you know, it was the first time. So welcome.
Magic, Michael. It was mesmerizing, Michael.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Michael. Very nice. Bravo.
Great job.
Bravo.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you, everybody.
much.
Thank you, Lauren, for being
Love
the,
you.
All right,
Perfect.
fabulous. Thank you.
Lauren,
Thank
thank
you.
you so much for inspiration. Thank you, Lauren.